What's going on, everybody? Bobby O'Brien here. Today I got an awesome video for you. Today I'm going to walk you through how I see amazing results, like the results you see in the picture here, where I can just move my camera real quick, with a crazy work schedule, and how you can too. You'll notice here that I do work a lot. I work 60 to 80 hours a week, probably similar to you. Maybe you're not working that many hours per week, but you probably got a really busy schedule and things are packed, and you still want to be able to see results like this without compromising your schedule. So if that's you, stick around and watch this entire video, because I'm about to give you some amazing gems on how you can take this information and apply it to your own routine, to your own lifestyle, and how you can make things really simple and easy for you so you can see results like the clients that I've worked with. I'm going to share at the end of this video as well. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Message me over on Instagram at It's Bobby O'Brien if you want to learn more about how I can customize a fully made program just for you so you can see amazing results just like this. So let's go ahead and just get right into the video here. So I'm going to start off with my daily routine, right? So my morning routine, wake up at 6 a.m. every single morning, right? 5 to 10 minutes of meditation for mental clarity. I practice the Wim Hof method. I've been doing that for about 5 years. 30 deep breaths, using your diaphragm, and then letting the breath actually travel through your chest into your brain, and then letting it flow back out again. Just doing that 30 times, no breathing after you've hit the 30th deep breath. And then you take a very deep inhalation once you can no longer hold your breath. You're basically just not breathing within that window of time, right? But you can do that up to 3 or even 5 rounds if you got some time. I really don't. I just do it for 1 round in the morning, and then I'm ready to go. And if I got some additional time too, if I wake up a little bit, extra early, around 5:45 a.m. or earlier, I'll get some sun, as you can see right here, into the retina so I can boost my circadian rhythm, basically just kickstart it and get some vitamin D going into that retina so we can get that circadian rhythm going. So fasting period, I really don't fast that often. Very rarely I do. I'm sure that's very hard for you to believe, knowing that I'm 5% body fat, but it is the truth. I will avoid eating for the first hour, right? So, if I wake up at 6 a.m., right, like I usually do every single day, I make sure that my first bite of food is not, any earlier than 7 a.m. And typically it falls between 7 or 8 a.m. in between my in-person training sessions, which I'm about to get into here in a second. So this is my work schedule, right? This is what compiles my 60 to 80 hour work week, right? So I go into work around 7 usually, sometimes earlier, and I do some in-person training sessions at Anytime Fitness from 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. I am a workaholic because then I'll go home after I work out at the Anytime Fitness where I work, right? From 2 to 7 p.m. for about another 5 hours, and sometimes longer, I'll work on my business and of course my online personal training program with my clients, take some calls, maybe tweak their program a little bit. If somebody has an issue with one of the exercises, I'll change it, answer questions, all that fun stuff. So this kind of falls around, give or take. This is like a 10-hour work day. Now that I'm realizing it, it falls between, 60 to 80 hours every single week, about 70 hours on average if you're accounting for my online personal training and business work. So I still work this hard, right? There may be some of you that don't. Maybe some of you are working 40 hours, maybe even 30 hours, or got your own business, or you're somebody who maybe is like me that works really, really hard. I am just making this video to show you how you can basically see amazing results just like me with a crazy schedule just like this. So I'm going to get into that a little bit now. So this is my dieting regimen, right? So the first meal, like I said earlier, is around 7 to 8 a.m. And I always make sure the first meal of the day is higher in fat and higher in protein. Why do I do that? I always want to get some initial satiety in the earlier part of the day so I can have a really long, what's called a time-restricted eating window. That's basically a fancy term for extending the window of time in between your first meal and your second meal. It's not caloric restriction. You're just giving your gut time to actually bioactively digest whatever fuel just came into your body, which is why eating 4 to 6 meals per day is dumb and is another thing that many influencers and coaches push onto their clients when it is absolutely unnecessary. You are not giving your gut a break, and it's not going to be sustainable. No reason to go into that. But anyway, just to let you know what I do, typically I just have 2 meals per day, sometimes 3. Rarely I'll have 3. 99% of the time I'll just have 2 meals, one at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., depending on how my in-person personal training sessions are scheduled. It kind of changes day to day. And I'll have my second meal around 4 to 5 p.m. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Once again, when I get that first meal with a prominent amount of animal foods, I'll include some carbohydrates as well, but I include the majority of the carbohydrates towards the end of the day. So that way I can really, boost my blood sugar, boost my insulin, so I can therefore crash in just a couple of hours and kind of wind down. So I find it that, eating a little bit more in the way of lower carbohydrates, or lower carbohydrate meal per se is better for me in the morning, just because I can use more of the way of ketones for fuel, get that, high level fuel, use my own body fat for fuel even in certain instances, right? If I eat a little bit later, and just get some good initial satiety, get some good nutrients, fat soluble and water soluble vitamins, right? All the B vitamins and vitamin A, D, E, and K2, everything I need, and just get the satiety I need until around 4 or 5 p.m. And with the workout split, it's a bro split, right? And to be quite honest with you, it's a split that pretty much all my clients follow. I know that a full body routine works for a lot of people. I have definitely done a full body routine myself and have allowed my clients to do the same thing if they need more flexibility with recovery. Once again, it is personalized to you. But I find that a bro split will actually give you the most in the way of results, because you can actually specifically hone in on one muscle group at a time and completely amplify your ability to really get a big metabolic reaction, right? So if I fully focus on biceps and triceps and I make sure that my rep range is on point, number of sets are also on point, I'm not going past 10 sets per muscle group and putting myself in a position where my RPE is too high, or I'm just overtraining, right? I'm still making sure that I'm training at a good intensity and not training too hard. It's perfect, because it can give all this individualized attention to one muscle group and completely amplify the potential for that muscle group to grow, rather than just diversifying it, right? Because I feel like the problem with a full body routine is that you don't necessarily give your body actually time to fully recover and from the prominent stress that you would be getting from an individualized split or an individualized day of training, where you actually really break down the muscle fibers, but you find that median to where you're not killing yourself, right? It comes back to the RPE, which is rate per exertion. 0 out of 10, I can do 100 more pull-ups or whatever it is. It feels like nothing. But if I'm at a 10 out of 10, it means I can't do one more rep, even if somebody were to hold a gun in my head. Now, we want to fall around that mid-range of 6 to 7, where we're at a moderate intensity to where we can stay consistent with our training and not kill ourselves. And that's exactly what I do with each and every workout, and it works wonders like you saw in the picture. So now with the second meal, it's a similar composition to the first meal, right? I'll have some higher fat, higher protein foods. I might mix it up a little bit, might have more in the way of seafood like mackerel or sardines, fish that are a little bit more, just lower in the way of mercury, but still have some like really, really good rich vitamins. And that's why I usually go for the bone-in sardines, so I can get more in the way of vitamin D. And yeah, then of course I'll include a little bit more in the way of carbohydrates, like I mentioned earlier, a little bit more in the way of fruit, a little bit more in the way of vegetables, not only to kind of fill up my muscles with glucose after the workout that I just had, but also for me to kind of spike my blood sugar, insulin a little bit, knowing it's not going to stay elevated for a long period of time like it would with processed carbohydrates. I'm going to get some sort of good initial spike so I can actually crash a few hours later. And I'm going to be a little bit more insulin sensitive per se, because I had a little bit more in the way of a lower carbohydrate meal in the beginning. That really works for me. I mean, I feel great every single day. There rarely will I have some brain fog. I may have a little bit of salt. Maybe add a little bit more in the way of carbohydrates. If I noticed the day before I didn't feel too good after the first meal, maybe just needed more. But I just kind of basically take the, bodily responses I have, just using that as data, right? Based on the data that I collect from my bodily responses, how my body responds to my diet and exercise routine, I'll basically tweak it. And we do the same thing for our clients. So afternoon and evening activities, right? So this is usually when I'm working on the business, I'm just, on autopilot at this point, creating content, client interaction, social media content for YouTube or Instagram, taking calls from potential clients, also taking coaching calls with current clients, and just helping them see the best results possible, right? Really easy. We make it really simple to where it's, we're putting your progress on autopilot to where, you need me in the beginning where I can, answer all of your questions. We dial everything in with your workout program and your meal plan, but then you get to the point to where you just utilize the resources in the app and you only reach out to me when you need me. And eventually you get to the point to where, it's just on autopilot and you don't need me every single day, which is, I'm sure, is what you guys want. You just want to be able to see consistent weight loss results without having to constantly worry about maintaining it and having somebody, picking back on you, just spying on you, and just kind of annoying you, right? That's not me. I'm here to support you, not be a drill sergeant. So I aim to sleep around 9 to 10 p.m. every single night, and the reason why earlier my last meal is around 5 to 6 p.m. is I ensure that I am, not eating 2 to 3 hours before, I go to sleep. And I do this because your gut does not kickstart its own circadian rhythm until 5 hours after your last bite of food. So even if I'm eating my last bite of food around 6 p.m., my gut realistically is not going to bed until 11 p.m. Now, your gut does not need as much rest as your brain, but it's optimal to give it around 6 to 7 hours of rest per night. So if I'm waking up, let's say, at 6 a.m. like I do every single morning, I have my last bite of food at 6 p.m., doesn't go to sleep until 5 hours later, that's 11 p.m., my gut realistically is getting 7 hours of sleep, which is optimal, and that's usually the time I stop eating every single night. And if you're somebody that can't simply give up, eating after 6 p.m., and you're somebody that still has to wake up somewhat early around 6 or 7 a.m., that is one huge barrier that I see every single time with people that come onto calls with me or that I work with personally, and people that stay there never progress. So that would be one thing that I would certainly change. If this means something to you, if you care about your health, you care about your family, you care about being around, you care about seeing results, cut down your eating window and eat earlier. If your wife wants to hang out on the couch and watch movies, tell her tough shit and it's time to actually cut that down and have dinner a little bit earlier. Put the foot down and do not let anyone else dictate the results that you see. Because I can't tell you how many times people will make excuses and just want to eat a little bit later and then continue to complain about the results that they're not seeing. And that's one of the biggest catalysts as to why people do not see results, is because they're not giving their gut time to actually bioactively digest the food that came into their body. They have no time restricted eating window. And if you're eating at 10 to 11 p.m. every single night and then you wake up at 6 a.m., your gut's only getting a couple of hours of sleep if you do the math. So just a little quick rant for you there about time restricted eating. Definitely see if you can certainly cut your eating window down a little bit, right? Got to be open to a little bit of coaching. So I just repeat that day in and day out, may mix up my meals a little bit, may mix up my workouts. Of course, the work changes day to day, but that's the structure, right? That's the structure that works for my lifestyle, and I work around on average 70 hours every single week, sometimes 80. Falls between 60 to 80 hours, right? And this clearly works. Works for me, works for my clients, and works for so many people right now that are consistently losing weight. There are outliers right now that are seeing consistent weight loss, seeing the number on the scale actually change every single week, every month, and some every single day that follow this to the T. Now, depending on who you are, your work schedule, how life is structured for you, we may tweak this a little bit, but it is certainly adaptable, even to somebody who's working 80 hours a week like me. So if I can do it, you can too, 100%. So people that had a crazy schedule like you and still saw amazing results, right? So this was my client, Eric. Not sure if you can see this right here, but this says 189. I can actually go ahead and exit out of this and just show you really quick. Boom, boom, boom. Yep, so 188.9 when he was in a fasted state. This was late December. Then got to 169 early March. Once again, 20 pounds in 3 months for my client, Eric. Same thing that you will see right here, right? With Chris, I'm sure you know very well. Talked about him a few times. If you've been watching this channel already, you should know him. Lost 36 pounds in 3.5 months. Was on track losing losing 10 pounds per month. Another one of my clients, 7 pounds in 1 week, right, of joining the program. This is stuff that can happen, right? 23rd of October, 249, got down to 242 7 days later. And then, of course, me, right? I'm going to exit out of that because you can't really see it. 5% body fat, that's what I maintain year-round, every single year. Year after year, I continue to put on more muscle mass, increase my skeletal muscle mass, and also keep my body fat percentage as low as 5% year in and year out by following the routine I just showed you, right? You can see it right there. Any of you stupid fitness influencers or gym bros that are lurking out on here that say I don't have a body fat percentage of 5%, this is what it is right now, and it might even be lower. This picture was taken in 2023. This measurement was taken in 2022. And I'll tell you one thing, I did not look like this in 2023. So just a quick shout out. If any of you fitness influencers or coaches are watching this, get out of here. Don't have time for your stupid hate or your BS, and no one's going to listen to it anyway. But if you want to make a show in the comments, feel free to. Just a quick shout out to my fans. So this can work, and by the results that you just saw, you certainly can see amazing results if you apply this routine. And we can certainly dial it in really, really quickly, right? Just by giving you access to Trainerize, the all-in-one app where you can get the fully customized workout program, meal plan that is tailored to you with a bunch of additional resources that are meant to give you results, right? I'm not going to waste your time like many fitness influencers would, right? With the ones that I just referenced just about a minute ago. Many of them just want to distract you and make you feel like you're working towards something when really you're just screwing yourself over by dysregulating your hormones, losing weight, but knowing that it's not going to be sustained. I want you to see sustainable results just like these, right? And just like me, these are just a few testimonials that I just brought up. I don't want to bore you with millions of them, right? But I got so many people that I'm working with in person that see amazing results, and many people online, like I just showed you, that are seeing great results using the methods that I teach inside the program. And I practice what I preach as well. And the results speak for themselves. So if you're somebody that wants to get a fully customized workout program, meal plan, and just a full online optimization program that is meant to optimize the function of your hormones so that you can lose weight consistently each and every month, give me a follow on Instagram and message me the word optimize, and we can start optimizing the function of your hormones today. Or you can book a one-on-one call with me right now so you can just get right into it so you can see results immediately without having to count or restrict a single calorie at all. And that's something I must say. I don't count calories. I don't restrict a single calorie. I don't count a macro. Chris was eating like 3,000 calories per day. Eric was eating upwards to 2,500 to sometimes well over 3,000 depending on the day. Client here who does not want to be named, totally fine. Same exact thing, 2,000 to 3,000 calories. And for me, I don't even know how many calories I'm eating at all. But it's probably around the same. I eat until I'm satiated, right? And I eat foods that are going to give me a good insulin response, and that's it. I don't count or restrict a single calorie. Do not do it. And you don't have to either. So if you're ready to see results, you know what to do. Follow me on Instagram at It's Bobby O'Brien. Message me the word optimize. I can gather some information for you or from you. And if you want to just get started right away and we can gather that information over the phone or over Zoom, click the link below and we can book your call today so we can start seeing results right now. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.